hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm out of studio for one day, and all hell breaks loose around here.
What do you think of this whole mess?
Wow, we got some house cleaning to take care of.
Yeah, we're fine.
So the other day I introduced Lloyd to an individual as my good friend and producer.
No, stop.
Stop.
You didn't say my good friend and producer. You
I
said,
did too.
This is my producer. He's got a great ear.
I said, this is my good friend and producer, Lloyd Cole. And Lloyd informed me yesterday that from now on he'd like to be introduced as Mr. Cole, my boss. And so
I didn't even say boss.
You're superior.
I said, you could introduce me as the program, the PD.
that's what he said. Your boss and superior. That's
Nope.
what he said. I would like to be known as
I
Mr.
wish we
Cole,
could be honest with one another.
your boss and superior. So I apparently now I have to introduce him as Mr. King Cole, my boss and superior.
Don't call me Nat.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Lloyd King Cole.
End all be all. And this all spurred because yesterday Lloyd was like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, just do what you want to do because you're the boss. And he's like, well, it'd be nice if you'd start introducing me that way to people.
You
I
were
was
the
like-
worst.
You
know what? You're probably one of the worst friends I think I've ever had.
That means I'm not number one. I'm a little further down that list.
Oh, my God.
No, you're a top-notch friend.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. That's not what you were saying when he was gone. All of a sudden, you turn into
Yeah,
this.
so what you
yeah.
want to do today is you just want to break the show up completely. That's what you want to do.
That's what you did yesterday. Mr. Cole, Boston Superior. So,
Oh, boy. I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back. I'm fired up.
it's nice to have you back. How was Boise?
Not great, Bob. Not great.
Yeah.
Got that second half got away from him a little
Let's
bit.
just say I will not be bringing on Greg Wrubell today. I'll say that.
Why?
Yeah, because last time I was in Boise.
Yeah.
So what happened in Boise? So you lost by almost 20, huh?
Oh, yeah. So where does that put you in the standings? Huh?
Oh, down with ways.
So you guys are on the bubble now, right? Yeah, BYU's pretty much in now after winning 5 in a row.
What are you hearing over there?
Yeah.
Are they saying that maybe they got a chance?
Oh, man, that would be on brand for Wrubell.
I called you yesterday before the game, and I was asking you about things, and you said, man, they just seem to struggle. What is it about the Taco Bell arena?
I don't know, but it's Extra Mile Arena now.
Oh, it's not the Taco Bell.
No.
Gas station bottle.
Long live Moss, but no Kiro Taco Bell.
Nice correction on your Instagram.
You like that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So
It'll always be Taco Bell Arena to me. The 7-layer arena.
It will always be Taco Bell arena.
Yeah.
But you go from diarrhea to fountain drinks, I guess, in your arena. That's ridiculous, dude.
I know, right?
Why is it so hard to get a win in there?
I even stopped.
Is it packed?
Yeah, it was packed, but it's not loud. It's not there's they jam a lot of people in there, but they're not obnoxiously crazy like it is in Logan. They probably can get 11,000, 12,000 in there. And it felt like it was close to a sellout last night, but at no point did I feel like, oh, this crowd is overwhelming or any of that nonsense. It just, I don't know, for whatever reason, Utah State always kind of struggles there. Even last year, they should have lost. They ended up pulling out a win in overtime. I watched a game once where they were down by 8, or they were up by 18 with 4.5 minutes left and ended up losing the game. So,
well, certainly always a pleasure to catch up with you, Greg. Thanks for your time, and look forward to catch up to getting here very, very soon.
Yeah, where are you, by the way, Scotty? Did you go to Boise last night, or what was the deal there?
Yeah, I am in Boise. Got here yesterday, and then we'll be here through Friday. So, yeah, good times.
Okay. Yeah, so you're up there, and you're going to be there through Friday night. Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on real quick. I know this is your interview, not mine.
No, you're all good.
When I left for practice last night, it was about a 2-point game, maybe 10 minutes to go up at Boise State, and Cada clearly went off. Didn't have Raleigh, is that right?
Yeah, Raleigh Wooster was out, and Brock Miller's really banged up as well, so he was a little bit limited.
So Boise takes a bit of a lead in their race to the conference crown with that win last night, right?
Oh, yeah.
Was this just last year? Or
no, this was the COVID year. This is like 21.
Yeah, that's been a minute.
Holy crap, that's that long ago.
Yeah, no, this was a minute ago. This is when during that COVID year where you'd be in a city for 2 games. So I had back-to-back games in Boise. So I was camped out in Boise for a long time.
Oh, my gosh. I've asked him about that multiple times, and he has told me multiple times. I promise. He's like, it came from a genuine place of interest.
We've asked him on the air multiple times. He's like, oh, and then he does that little, like, it's not a Frank Dolce laugh, but it's a
Hey, we got to see if we can get Gregg on today. I just want to see if he brings up the Boise State thing. Just to
We're
see.
open at 2. See if Gregg can sneak in at 2 o'clock. And just see, let's not say anything to him, and let's just see if he brings it up on his own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'd be fun. Yeah, we got to do it. I spent a couple hours in studio with Shep yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
How's our guy doing?
I did the Deep Blue.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the Deep Blue podcast.
By the way, Shep and I have met on common ground now. We are now fans of trying to figure out where, because we're big fans of Rockstars, the energy drink.
Yeah.
And by the way, endorsement opportunities plentiful.
Yeah, come on.
So please come on board. Let's go. But they're not highly available in the Salt Lake airport. Well, he and I both spent a lot of time in that airport. He does the BYU women's games. And so I have mapped out the 2 spots, or actually 3 spots in the Salt Lake airport where you can find a sugar-free Rockstar. There's only 3
really
in the entire
that
airport
limited.
that I've been able to find it. No, Monster's everywhere.
Yeah, but
the Rockstar is very limited, and so I've been able to track him down. So if he sees one, then he lets me know, and I let him know too.
I like that. He was fun. Those Deep Blues are interesting. They kind of get to the core and soul of you.
So it's like a Roy Firestone. Like, I promised I wasn't going to crit. Roy.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
there were a couple where I was like, "Hey, let's change the subject."
So is he like trying to get behind the curtain and let?
Well, dude, he does an amazing job. Like, he digs up stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he found the story about the guy I saved, and he's like, "Tell me about this." And I was like, "Oh, geez, that was November of 1996. That's a long time ago."
Yeah.
I'm like, "How did you even know?"
Did you work in the state champion wrestling?
Of
movie?
course, dude.
Yeah.
When my state championship. Anytime I tell the story, I have to mention a state championship.
As you should.
And I mentioned that Orrin took second in state.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always.
So who was the one that got him out of the truck?
No.
The state champion did.
I always give it back to Orrin. Orrin was the true hero that day. He was. I didn't even want to get in the cold water to try to save the guy. It was freezing.
Like, he can swim. He's fine.
He's be all right. There's air in there.
Yeah.
No, there's not. You better get in here and help me get this guy out of here.
Have you ever, did you guys stay in contact a little bit, or did Orrin and he stay in contact a little bit?
For about 6 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And then I was with the Colts moving around the AFL and just kind of lost touch. But Tom Swan, if you're out there, bud, big thumbs up to you.
Yeah.
So
Tom Swan.
This would have been nearly
almost 30 years ago.
It'll be 30 years this November. No, 30 years next November.
Next November. Jeez.
That Orrin and I pulled him out of a
So you were just fishing, right?
wrecked truck. Yeah, on November 5th in a snowstorm.
That's my birthday, by the way.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And this dude comes flying off the road, man. And
Did he fall asleep or
down
just
50.
lost control or what?
Lost control because it was there was so much snow.
Oh, okay.
You could see only about 10 feet, 15 feet in front of you.
Yeesh.
It was such a heavy snow on November 5th. It was crazy. And we shouldn't even have been out there. 7 o'clock in the morning. It was bonkers. But yeah, so it's kind of that. Shep does a really good job. He preps.
Well, good for him, man.
And
Good for you.
He's like, so tell me about your days on hoeing beets. It's like, how do you? He's good.
Well,
Tell me about the El Pollo Rojo.
Yeah. The Pollo Rojo name came up. The red chicken.
If he really would have done his job. He's like, okay, we have a mystery guest. Fawn, welcome to the show.
No, because Mom's an entertainer. She'll go for the jugular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she goes for the throat.
Oh man, that's so good.
But we had a good time. That would be fun if Gregg could jump on it too. If he's available.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 12:15. Time to get to it. You're starting the lineup right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Starting lineup brought to you by Mountain Land Supply. Remember, if water runs through it, Mountain Land Supply has got you covered. Whether it's outdoor, indoor plumbing, irrigation, you name it, go to mountainland.com to find the location nearest you. All right, Jazz settled up with another loss last night to Sacramento, 118 to 101. Things got away from the Jazz in the second quarter, third quarter as well. But as long as the Jazz keep sending out KJ Martin, Bryce Sensabaugh in your starting lineup. Cody Williams plays 18 minutes. Lauri Markkanen not playing. This is probably what you're going to get. There's a lot of development going on with the Jazz. I think there's a lot of youngsters that are really coming into their own. But KJ Martin plays 33 minutes last night. He does have 16 points. Walker Kessler leading the way with 25 points. But again, these guys are getting valuable minutes, but ultimately saddled with another loss.
But this is how it needs to be.
But this is how it needs to be.
And it's pretty cool because, you'll get this crazy performance by Kyle Filipowski, and then you'll get a beautiful performance by Bryce Sensabaugh. And you mentioned Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler last night, he did things that very few people have ever done in the NBA. He goes perfect from the field, 10 of 10. He goes 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Pulls down 14 rebounds. Dishes out 5 assists, and ends up with 25 points. It's an incredible line by Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
And I saw David Locke. He was tweeting out a couple of things, and David was tweeting out some of the records with Walker Kessler on the court and with Walker Kessler off the court. I think off the court they're like 2-10 or 2-11, something crazy like that. I think Walker Kessler, if the Jazz find their stride in time and allow Walker Kessler to hold his confidence, I actually think he could be a really beautiful piece. I'm not talking about a three on a three-man, a three-headed monster, but no. I'm talking about a really nice piece that could do so many good things for you because he's long and he's versatile and he's a shot blocker and he does things defensively that you need.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I think that his development, he deserves a ton of credit because he had the rookie year where he kind of jumped on the scene. Everybody's like, ooh, Rudy who? This guy's just as good. And he's Rudy with an offensive game. Look what he can do. And then the sophomore year, he takes a step backwards. You can tell there's regression there. And then he buckles up and says, okay, I don't want to be a flash in the pan. I want to have a long 12-year NBA career. What do I have to do? And he dedicates himself in the offseason, and he has had a really good third year in the NBA. Yes. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. Jazz do as well for their development, but he individually has stepped up to the plate and realized, okay, if I want that next big contract, if I want to be a valuable piece in this league in some way, shape, or form, it's on me to put in the work. And credit to him. It shows a lot of maturity on his part because I think you're right, he's not going to be the third head of a three-headed monster that leads a team deep into an NBA playoff run, but he is going to be a valuable piece to a team somewhere, whether it's the Jazz or somebody else. He will be a valuable piece to a team that goes deep into the playoffs.
So I think that there's a lot of indicators when you get past this last trade deadline and Walker Kessler remains on this roster. I just think that there's a lot of indicators because Walker Kessler has value. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of indicators that they're going to try to hold on to him for the long term, but you start to wonder, how long is the long term? How long are we going to sit here and wait? How many drafts, how many years are we going to sit here and wait? And, we might be in for the next 3 to 4 years, and then in that 5th year, they finally pull the trigger on everything. It might be 2 to 3, and then the 4th year, they pull the trigger. I don't think we're within 4 years, though. I think that we're probably looking another 2 or 3 years of tank fest, of try to drive prices up on players, drive wins and losses down, and keep yourself relevant in the draft.
Yeah.
I think we're probably a minimum of 3 seasons, this season and 2 others, before you start to see the fruits of the labor.
Yeah, I would agree with that if there is no acquisition via trade or free agency. If you do this solely through the draft, then yes.
Okay.
Which is what with the route they're probably going to have to go.
Yeah, it seems like that's the route that they're probably going to have to go. But maybe they do put something together. And I will say that every time we've talked to Justin Zanuck or we've talked to David Locke or we talked to anybody, or anytime you've had a conversation probably away from a mic or I've had a conversation away from a mic, it's like you want to know the timeline. Give me the timeline so I know how long I got to wait.
We're going to be good when.
Yeah. But this is always the return I get, and you can change it if you get something different. It could happen at any moment.
Yep.
If the right name and the right situation with the right request comes, it could be tomorrow. It could be next year. It could be at any time. But realistically, I look at it and I'm like, hey, it's just bear down for the next couple of years. Just know this is what it's going to be. We're going to see a game from Walker Kessler and talk about Walker Kessler and his 25, 12, and 5 performance and his 100% from the field and his defensive efforts, but all of it in a loss. You know, Bryce Sitzabah and Kyle Filipowski in a given night, they combined for 45 points or whatever it was, 48 points. And Filipowski was crazy good from the perimeter. And talking with David Locke, David's talking about above-the-break shots. And I love that. I always love above-the-break shots and guys that can develop anything that moves from the corner, comes above the break, and hits in a really nice, smooth transition style, either off the dribble or off the bounce or off the pass. And Filipowski's kind of – see, those are the kinds of things that we're just going to have to continue to talk about. And I'm like, all right, Hans, just get ready for it.
Yeah.
It's at least another season after this.
Because look at the San Antonio Spurs. They snagged a generational player, all right? Could possibly be the next LeBron James in Victor Wembanyama. All right, so what have they done with Victor? Last year they were 22-60, and this year they're 24-33.
And they've sat him for the year.
Yeah. And so, like, even if the Jazz, let's say they're the number 1 overall pick to get Cooper Flagg, guess what? You could still have a 25-win season next year. Mm-hmm. Still have the Rookie of the Year. And look, Cooper Flagg's no Victor either. Cooper Flagg has a chance to be really good, but he's no Victor Wembanyama. So you may have Cooper Flagg and then be in the sweepstakes for A.J. DeBansta coming up.
Yep.
DeBansta? I always screw up that name. I got one more college basketball season before I really need to dial that guy in. DeBansa. All right.
Yeah, A.J. DeBansa. It's not overly familiar to me either because he's still a high school kid.
Yeah.
He's still just a
when he shows up on campus, then it's go time.
But everybody knows what you're saying, whether it's DeBansa or DeBansa or DeBansa or whatever. They know what you're saying. And I know what you're saying.
BYU fans want to riot right now. No, and by the way, I get it. I understand.
Well, BYU fans were losing their mind because AJ was downgraded to number 2, the number 2 recruit.
Oh, really?
In the country, yeah.
So BYU didn't even get the number 1 recruit?
BYU no longer has the number 1 recruit?
No.
That's BS, man.
It was degraded to number 2.
Now he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. Now he's going to be ticked.
Well, good. Rile him up.
Yeah, let's go.
Get him all feisty. Feed him red meat. That's fine.
Whole milk and red meat, and let's go.
Let Kevin find a way to restrain and then force him into incredible basketball.
This is what they think of you. You're number 2 now.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
How's that?
In the entire nation, you're no longer number 1. You're number 2.
Number 2 out of only 75,000 people. Boy, you should be embarrassed.
I don't even know if we're going to have to knock off $2 or $3 million off that price.
Yeah. It comes with a major discount and savings for us. But I was thinking about this. Last night as I was watching the pregame. Seeing Bowler back on the camera.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I thought David did a great job, but it was funny watching Big T. Big T kind of popped him in the arm. He's like, "Nice to have you back, partner." You know, I just love Bowler. And I was thinking about it during their pregame when I was getting ready for this game. I go back to that year, Scotty, where we knew it was all on the line with O'Neal and Mitchell and Ingles and Gobert. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking every day. We were talking about this is a powder keg. This is a roster full of dynamite. This is a must-do. It's a do or die because we saw it. You were starting to leak into the luxury tax. Things were starting to get really dang expensive because you'd outlived Donovan Mitchell's rookie contract and Rudy Gobert was getting his defensive MVPs, and you just knew it was all getting really expensive. And we knew that the whole thing was going to implode. Well, that's what it goes back to with Victor Wembanyama. You've got a window. San Antonio's got a window. They've got to make it happen next year. They got to make something significant happen because Victor's going to own 3/4 of that team. The ownership's going to have to give him, parts of the team in order to keep him happy and satisfied before he starts to turn red. That just happens to these guys. Before Kevin Durant's the world. And all of a sudden, he realizes, wait a second, I'm the biggest thing in this league. Everything is me. Where do I want to be and what do I want to do with it? And how much money do I want to make and where do I want to make it?
Yeah.
It's not going to be San Antonio. I know that San Antonio did it with the 3, but it was like the perfect mixture of Pop teaching them that they could sit out games, he could extend their career, and instead of getting 2 years, he could extend it out 8 years and they could get 2 more rings. And it was beautiful how he did it. I don't think that there's that kind of love and understanding with Victor in San Antonio. So you got to time that right. And I don't know how quick that it can happen for them because you remember when Donovan Mitchell hit, it was like, oh, no, he's nice.
Yep.
Okay, so there's this window.
Yep.
Got to go. And that window closed so fast. 3 years?
Yeah. And they made that move on Mike Conley. They thought he would be the final piece. Nope.
No. Was Ricky Rubio was pre-Donovan?
Ricky came in after Donovan.
Okay, because Ricky was another kind of like, if I remember right, Ricky was another one that was like, okay, let's try this. We'll move him off point. We'll get a distributor. We'll work it this way. And credit to the Jazz at the time.
Hey, they did everything they could.
Oh, dude, they did.
They threw everything at it.
Oh, and they kept us entertained.
Yeah.
Every night was a major point of interest.
And I'll give the Jazz credit because it would be really easy for Ryan Smith to go to Danny Ainge and Justin Zanuck and say, I'm tired of this. I am tired of this. We have all these assets. Let's get something. And they're like, okay, well, it would be, and I know, look, if Justin Zanuck's listening and he does, hey, Justin, and he may wreck his car when he hears me say this, but I firmly believe it wouldn't be that hard with all the assets that the Jazz have. It would not be that hard to put together a 48 to 53 win team. But that's as far as you're going to get. You're not going to go. You're not going to get any further than that. But it wouldn't be that hard to become a good team. But you'll never become a great team.
Right.
And to Danny Ainge's credit and Justin Zanuck's credit and to the credit of Ryan Smith saying, no, let's be great. Let's not be good. And let's hold out for something that will make us great.
Uh-huh.
And that's hard to do because it would be, again, you can fill up the arena, sell everything you want to sell and merchandise as a good team, but you'll never bring that Larry O'Brien trophy in.
No. And I'll tell you why. The NBA has a playoff set that gets right down to the bare bones, the brass tacks. The way the NBA runs their postseason, you can't fake it. You can't luck your way into it. You can't get hot for 4 games and find yourself in the Final Four like you can in the NCAA tournament. You can't do that in the NBA.
No. Nope.
You have to be real. You got to have depth. You got to have scoring. You got to have insane defenders that can match up with the other team's best scorers. And you can't fake it. You can't get hot. The way the NBA postseason is set up, you can make a 52, 54-win run in the regular season. And if you aren't for real and you don't have one of the best 3 players in the world, you will eventually be found out.
Yeah.
They will find the crack, they will exploit it, and they will eliminate you.
It's like the Jazz did when they were the 1 seed in the West.
Absolutely.
And Ty Lue tore them up.
So build it.
Yeah.
Build it so it doesn't leak, and that the Jazz fans can finally experience a run to the finals and a true potential opportunity to win. And I rest on this nightly when I'm watching this Utah Jazz team. I rest on it nightly. I do believe that the Jazz could be bound up in some type of massive move one day that catches us off guard. Now, not to the magnitude of Luka, but a gigantic move where it's like, oh my gosh. Now, I know we don't get the Woj bombs anymore, but all of a sudden the news is breaking. Utah Jazz involved in a multiple first-round picks, packaging Walker Kessler and, I don't know, Lauri Markkanen for XYZ in return. And it's like earth-shaking. Yeah. I do sit there and I think that could happen.
I do too.
Because Danny Ainge ain't no punk. For people that don't know Danny Ainge, or they don't know Justin Zanuck, or they don't know Ryan Smith, they're not punks. These are very aggressive, very competitive human beings that have made their careers on being competitive. So if you don't think that they're out there waiting for the angle to try to seize the moment, they're going to try to do that. Or if it doesn't come, then they got to be patient. They got to hope for a lottery ball to hit and see if they can get extremely lucky.
Yeah. Hans and Scotty alongside El Jefe, Lloyd Cole. Thanks for making us part of your day. El Capitan.
Is that better?
Superior Cole.
How do you want it?
We'll word it any way you want.
Lord Cole?
Lord Cole.
I'll just introduce you as Lord Cole.
Lloyd King.
How about Lloyd Calzone?
Lloyd King Cole. 12:32. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Joined once again by Jeff Johnson, former University of Utah basketball player.
How much would you like to see one of Utah's own get the job?
I'd love to see it. They've tried everything else. Now it's time to try somebody with Utah ties that remembers the passion that can be in that stadium when they're good, and I'd be all for it and support it and help them as much as I can. I'm very dialed into the high school scenes. I get text messages from college coaches all the time, and I would love to be able to have a former Ute that's associated with the program to be able to help sell that to these high school kids. I think at this point they have to try something that can get more fan interest and have some memories from the past that would flood in there as fans see those former coaches and former players helping.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to Hans Sultan and Scotty G. That's right, yeah! On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hans, it's that time of year where all the NFL, potential players, hopefuls, all go to Indianapolis. They get down into their skivvies. They get weighed. They get measured. They get poked. They get prodded.
Yeah, it's
body
fun.
Fat measured, every little thing.
Those Senior Bowls are a lot of fun, too. You stand in your underwear with 85 other guys waiting to go stand in front of about 85 men with a binder and a pencil or a pen.
A dude, some 65-year-old dude that's wearing a golf shirt that's 2 sizes too small, that's evaluating you like, I don't know, I don't think he's got good muscle tone. Like, what do you know about muscle tone, Bob?
His traps are very saggy.
Yes. His hand length isn't very good. It's only 9 inches. He's going to fumble the ball a lot.
Okay, you bum. Fine, take your notes, run them back to your boss. I don't care. But I don't know. I wonder how much combine, pro days, Senior Bowls, how much all that stuff's changing because, I think back to my time, things were pretty archaic. They're pretty antiquated. They definitely needed change. And I have heard some of the rumblings that the S2 is that it's not that it's got the same depth of testing, but it's not as potentially embarrassing as its predecessor, the Wonderlic. It's different. Have you heard much about this S2?
I've not.
So, they got rid of the Wonderlic.
Yeah, because People kept leaking out the scores.
Yeah, people were leaking out the scores, and they weren't sure if, finding a hypotenuse or getting right down to the particular angles of this and that, or being able to work some form of algorithm. And, because I did take the Wonderlic during our pro day, and it was tough. I think I did okay.
Is it like an ACT? Like, is it like actual like math questions, or is it like theory? And
it's much like a high school equivalency. Like it would test every area for you, coming out of high school.
All right.
It tests all aspects of English, a bit of history, a bit of math.
Yeah.
More math than anything. A lot of word problems. Like if Sally is running to the street looking for the ice cream truck or those kinds of things. The S2, it actually combines a few things. So first it starts, the football players, they sit in front of a laptop and they complete reaction time tests.
Yeah.
So the tests include things like identifying missing points on a diamond or tracking multiple objects to involve their mind and their ability to remember or recognize indifference or see problems. So it uses some hand-eye coordination to the laptop. It also measures spatial awareness, motor sequencing, impulse control. It takes about 45 minutes to complete, and it's just a complete takeover of the Wonderlic.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of happy about. I think that the Wonderlic, it took too long for them to move on from that. Just like I think it's taking too long for them to move on from the 225. I don't think
you think that needs to be in the rearview mirror too.
Yeah,
huh?
I do. I don't think that the 225. So what I'd say on the 225, I would just say, all right, this is how I'd work the 225. I'm not going to say how many times can you do it. I'm just going to say, all right, position, wide receiver. All right, wide receiver, go hit this 10 times. What position are you? Defensive line. All right, defensive line, go hit it 22 times. What position are you? Offensive line. Okay, offensive line, go hit it 26 times. If you can hit it, green check mark.
Punter, can you get the bar up?
Can you, get 45.
Yeah.
Can you get the bar up? But if you can hit it, it's a green check mark. But I don't think that it has much significance, especially putting a wide receiver under it. It has no significance.
If you're an NFL GM and you are looking for a standard, I don't know, every skill set's a little different, though, so maybe this isn't a good question. But if there's a standard, whether it's a 3-cone drill or a certain weight lift or something like that you're like, I need to see this be really good. Like, is there, you say the bench and the number isn't really that important. What's something that you look at and you're like, I need this to be great?
Well, I think that the overall scope of things for every position group, I know I've attacked the 40 and everybody attacks the 40, but it is a really solid measuring stick for every position group.
Really? Okay.
It is. It just is. You can monitor your straightforward speed. It monitors explosion out of the gate. It monitors stride and length. It monitors finish. And remember, when you're running the 40, they hit you with a 10-yard split. So I would suggest that 10-yard split is more important for offensive line and defensive line than the 40 is. But I think for every position, that 40-yard dash is a really good marker of how athletic you are. And if you're running it in a 5'8", even if you're 6'7", 325 pounds, if you're running it in a 5'8", 5'9", I'm like, there's something missing for you. There's just something. You should be able to get that in a 5'5". And if you're standing at 6'5" and you're weighing in at 315, you should probably get yourself in that 5 flat to 5'2". And if you're a wide receiver and you're 6'2", 185, I need to get you somewhere in that 4'5". So you've got marks. But again, I would have green check marks for numbers. I'd say, all right, position, wide receiver. All right, 6'2", 185. It's got to be a 4.58, and it's either a red check mark or a green. I do know that it marks speed, and you can mark the speed, and you could probably judge some guys based off of it. But there's been a lot of fast guys that haven't made a dent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and they always get drafted by the Raiders, too. And Lloyd will actually agree with me. Darius Hayward-Bay. I mean, the guy ran, like a 4.2 40, and Al Davis is like, give him all the money.
But
we want him.
And by the way, when they do pick right, then the guy kills somebody. So they nailed that one, but guess what?
Was that Ruggs?
That was Ruggs, Henry Ruggs, and he was having a legit rookie season.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
Was he a rookie when he did that?
Yes. Yep.
I think he's going to be out in 2 years. No, I think he might be out this year.
No.
Wow, that's pretty short.
Are you serious?
Oh, guys, remember when we were on air, we talked about this. I think he got a 3-year sentence. It might have been a 4-year, but it was like.
That would make me sick to my stomach if
No,
that's
Lloyd,
all it was.
I'm not even kidding you.
Sentenced 3 to 10 years. So it'll always be closer to 3 than it will be 10.
So that's what I thought, because I remember when we announced it, I was like, he'll be out in 4.
He was sentenced August 9th, 2023. So he was just sentenced last year. So that's weird. Seems like it was a lot longer ago. So he's eligible
in 23?
Yeah. So he's eligible for parole in August 26. So yeah, next year, next August.
A woman burned to death.
And the dog too, right? Or was that a different accident?
Oh no, that was that accident.
Yeah,
that was the Vegas. Yeah, it was a dog, and the impact did not kill her.
Yeah, the fire did.
They found that her lungs were full of fluid, and that she actually burned to death because he was drunk doing 152 down a Vegas road, and he's going to be out of prison.
He could still play.
He 100% could still play, and I would not be surprised to see it happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Raiders.
Stop.
I'm just telling you.
If that's one thing that the Raiders have started to be better about as far as, like, cutting ties, now the Broncos.
Like who?
I don't know. I'll look. I'm sure there's somebody. I'm sure it's happening.
Name me a Bronco who's killed a person.
Isn't Champ Bailey?
Champ Bailey never has been arrested. Champ Bailey's never been arrested in his life.
Are you sure? Wasn't he the one that shot?
No, that's Aqib Talib.
Pistola?
That's Aqib Talib.
Oh.
Now, Talib almost killed himself.
Okay. See?
But he didn't kill anybody else. He's not running down some lady.
He almost killed somebody.
All right, but Scotty, I do need to mention this only because I retweeted this chart. Dov Kleiman, he actually scouted out 10 years of arrests in the NFL.
Oh, Broncos are going to be high.
10 years of arrests. They come in at number 8.
The Broncos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Out of 32.
Cincinnati, top 5?
By the way, Broncos, 9 arrests in 10 years.
Oh, wow. I actually thought it was going to be more than that.
Raiders are towards the bottom, right?
Raiders are at 16 with 7 arrests.
Yeah, but we need to weight them.
Yeah.
The level of the arrests. Like, there can be, like, little misdemeanors, and then there can be manslaughter.
You can't. Okay, we're not doing this.
Yeah, because Ruggs does count for like 20.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't.
It
it's
counts
just
for like
one.
20.
This isn't like this should be like the Olympics when the U.S. Olympic basketball team wins a gold. Each one of those golds should count in the medal count.
I actually agree with that. Okay, who do you think is the number one?
Bengals.
Cincinnati comes in at number 16.
What?
Yeah, they tied with the Raiders at 7.
I think is it the 49ers?
Okay, think about this. You're winning in arrests.
Oh, Kansas City.
And you're winning on the field.
We spent all offseason talking about the Chiefs. It seemed like every week there was something going on there.
16 arrests in 10 years.
What a scumbag organization.
Yeah, that's something we can agree on.
And if we're going to weight it, like you just talked about,
they're up there too.
Darn right. Yeah, Coach's son did some real damage.
Yep. All right, 12:49, Hans and Scotty, what you may have missed coming up next. Cole Bagley will join us in studio coming up at 1:05. We'll talk some Utah Hockey Club with him. It's all straight ahead right here on The Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
You know what's happened over the last month that's really important for the Jazz? Keontae's probably a full-time bench player for the rest of his career. He doesn't want that, I'm sure. He's been really good coming off the bench. And you can hide a lot of his deficiencies when he's going up against other second-unit players that are equally flawed. If you have a six-man who can score 30 and get everyone involved with some playmaking, he's really valuable. So you found the role for Keontae, and I suspect he's going to stay there for a while. And now what the nice thing is for the Jazz is they thought that was going to be Colin Sexton's role. Well, now you can trade Colin and get whatever you want for him. If you feel like Keontae at 21 years old is more valuable than Colin Sexton at 26 years old going into this summer with $18 million on his contract, because you control Keontae forever, and if he's a six-man, no one's going to pay him. Until you are putting them in the right positions to succeed, it's so hard to nail them down.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a tremendous day today. Hey, by the way, it's your chance to nominate who you believe should be the Hercules Hero of the Week. It's really simple. Go to KSL.com or KSLSports.com and enter in the person you believe has done a lot to help out those in the sports world as a volunteer. We announce a winner every Thursday during JJ and Alex. So the Hercules Hero of the Week brought to you by Hercules Credit Union and Beehive Mills.
We're going to have Greg Wrubell join us at 2 o'clock, and we'll talk about this BYU-Arizona State win. We'll kind of get into depth with it, but got to watch most of that game last night, Scotty. And start to finish, it's just a really pretty offense.
Yeah.
They find wide open threes. They knock down plenty of threes. In fact, they're incredible from the perimeter, and they do a lot of great things. So we'll be talking about that. BYU just continues to build the resume.
Better at the three-point line than the free throw line.
Almost by 6%?
Yeah.
Something like that. Were they 51% from three and 45% from the free throw?
That's something that's going to have to. That's going to bite them in the butt eventually. They got to get that dialed in.
Got to sharpen those.
Yeah, and it's not because
free throw shooting skills.
And it's not because they're not good at it. It's not because they don't practice it. I think I always laugh when some Joe Schmuckatelli tweets out like, "Spend the entire time at you don't think these guys are putting work in on free throws?"
I promise you.
I guarantee you they are.
Since they were two.
Yes.
They've shot a lot of those.
They're shooting a lot, and they will continue to shoot a lot, and they'll fall for them. I think they'll be okay.
The other thing I wanted to mention, what you may have missed, because we were talking about the San Antonio Spurs, this was news that just came out. Gregg Popovich finally came back and addressed the team. It's the first time back since he suffered, what was it, a stroke?
I believe so, yeah.
Back in November. And he let them know that he is in the middle of recovery and he will not be back for this season. What's the holdup here?
I don't know, because he said he still hopes to coach next year.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. Dude, right off in the sunset.
What? Why?
Yeah, what else do you have left to prove?
Go get healthy.
Enjoy those retirement years.
Yeah, sit on a beach somewhere. Take in some sun.
Go with, who's the old coach of the Mavericks that's got a house over in Hawaii? All he does is smoke pot over there with Willie Nelson. Don Nelson.
Donnie Nelson, yeah. Go hang with Donnie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just want to be a jerk and go chew out a 7-Eleven teller.
Like pretend he's David Locke and just go yell at him.
Yeah, go find some convenience store teller and chew him out.
Yeah. How dare you ask me that question if this is a 2-for-1 Monster Energy drink?
Yeah. Get in random Ubers and argue about the location of your delivery. I didn't say that. I didn't tell you downtown square. Go do that. But don't take any more of my time.
No.
Things are going to be tight with Victor Wembanyama. You've got to make something happen quick. And for him to sit there and flex his muscles because he got a few rings, look, it's great. And
Good for him.
You were great.
But
get out of the way.
Yeah. And if I'm Victor, I'm like, hey, coach, let's get some new blood in here.
And that might sound cold-hearted, but that's how he would talk about himself if he was really speaking for real.
Absolutely.
Like, you're done.
Yeah.
Go get healthy. Let a guy come in that can really spark the imagination of these players.
Yeah. All right, 1 o'clock straight up. Hans and Scotty Cole Bagley will join us next. We'll talk a little Utah Hockey Club with him straight away. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.